This is Runa. She likes to explore by the fire. And good morning. Today is the first day of what I consider the new year. If you're watching this video, I pre-recorded this because the internet's just not so reliable here or consistent enough to be able to do a live call with a bunch of people. So I hope you don't mind that I've prepared ahead of time. And it's the solstice, or it will be the solstice by the time this video is being watched by you. And welcome to the change, the transition from darkness to light, which is what the winter solstice really represents, specifically for those in the northern hemisphere. We'll do a practice today. I'll share a practice. I've called this the breath ritual, but to really get the most out of the breath ritual and get the most out of today in this auspicious time, I feel like sharing just a couple things that have been on my heart, in my thoughts, in my mind. If you're here, the chances are you are interested in the cultivation of light. This is a really fascinating topic, I think, and there's many different ways to talk about this. Specifically, I want to talk about it in the context of the tradition of yoga, and specifically with Tantrik Hatha Yoga. And for some of you who are watching this, you might be new to this material, you might be new to my flavor, my style of teaching and practicing. And for some, you may be familiar already with me and have practiced with me for some time. So my intention of what I share is meant to just bring us all onto the same page. And to start with, why don't we just Om 3 times? That way we can all drop in to our heart together. And then I'll talk a little bit, and then maybe workshop a couple things, and then we'll practice together. Does that sound like a nice plan? All with the intention of cultivating more light. So, you can find a comfortable seat with your spine straight. Relax your shoulders. Relax your jaw. Relax your heart and your lungs. And then exhale fully. All the air comes out. Draw the lower belly in a little bit. And now 3 sounds of Aum. Okay? Slow fill, inhale. Two more times, nice and slow with the inhalation. Just take a few deep breaths. See if you can become aware of where the light emerges in the body, in the mind. You can rub your hands together. Just warm up the palms of the hands. Once they're nice and warm, place them on the eyes. And then relax the eyes. Allow the eyes to rest back into their sockets, and the light from the palms penetrating through into the center of the brain. You might see like a blue light or a warm light. And just breathe deeply into the center of their brain. And then release the hands. You can brush if you like on your body. And we'll start by giving thanks to our beautiful earth, Pachamama, to all the elements around us in life, to the kitties. Now I have Raja over here exploring. This is the big brother. It's the big one. Raja means king or royal. He's funny. Yeah, the return of the light. You know, I'm making a special recording here today for the solstice. And it might be something that you refer back to or you watch at other times, because I think what I want to share related to this idea of cultivating light is applicable throughout our lives, right? And specifically for those in the northern hemisphere, we have this very extraordinary occurrence where the sun is no longer descending in the sky, moving in lower latitudes, and is now returning, right? There's actually a 3-day period after the solstice that the sun stands still. That's what solstice means, to stand still. And then after 3 days, it starts to make its way back upward. And just to think about that for a moment, that's a really significant event, especially for our ancient ancestors. The return of the light was the change of the cycle of light and dark. And obviously this affected all the crops and agriculture and all the things that were important for life. And to kind of internalize this and think about, okay, well, where is the light in me? And what is the cycle of light in me? And I'm making the assumption that for those of you who are tuning in, you have an understanding that we are beings of light, right? That we're made of light, and that the light comes through us and comes into the form that we consider us, but before our personality, before our mind even, before our body, is this light. And so we see the impulse of light as the soul in the tradition of yoga. It's the Atman. And that impulse of light travels through different layers, different koshas. And the koshas are the sheaths, or the layers of the bodies. And there's a distinct number, there's 5 of the koshas. And so what we'll do today and how we want to approach our practice is through the lens of these koshas and through the lens of the elements, the bhutas, panchamahabhutas, to kind of align each of those layers. Because ultimately the path of yoga is a path of returning to the source, returning to the light, so that we can be bathed in the glory of that light, the abundance and the generosity of that light. And just like the sun, the sun rises every day and gives light to everything on earth, gives life to everything on earth. All of the plants, all of the animals, we're all derived from sunlight, physically speaking, right? This is the science. And fire, even like fire, when fire burns, it's releasing trapped sunlight. The breaking apart of the bonds due to the increase in speed from friction causes a combustion reaction, which releases light and heat. But that light comes from the sun. And even further back, that the sun's light comes from the universal light of the Creator. And the idea I want to work with and practice today is, well, there's also a sun inside of us, right? There's also a light awakening each day at dawn when we open our eyes and our senses come back online, emerging out of sleep. That light is now moving through us and animating our world and giving life to everything in our world. And for the significance of a time like this with the solstice and this changeover of seasons is we have a chance to work with that light to remove the darkness. If there's anything in our system, anything that doesn't belong and shouldn't be in the next cycle of creation, there's a chance for us to let it all go to rest and actually rest, to find its peace and its dissolution. And there's things in our body, in our physical body, in our mental body, in our emotional body, in our energetic body, in our spiritual body. There are tiny little, I call them like residues, obstructions that prevent this light from flowing. And so Tantrik Hatha Yoga is a series or a system of specific techniques dealing with the body and dealing with the breath and dealing with the mind and dealing with the energy to increase the flow of the light. And so we have a couple different ways that we do that, right? We have the asanas, which are really about connecting to the physical body, but also aligning the movement of the energy through the nadi system. Now you can think of it like, there's a plumbing system to the body, internal plumbing. And if those pipes are clogged or kinked in some way, then the energy doesn't flow well. So asanas do one aspect of that, and we'll work with specifically some things with the legs and stances, working on the base, because most of what we're going to do today is centered around seated activity, dealing with kriyas including bandhas and mudras. These are things that are very distinct to Hatha Yoga, because the kriyas with the bandhas and the mudras help to move a lot of energy, a lot of life force through the system, through those pipes, so that when we go to pranayama, the pranayama is like the specifically the rhythmic breathing, where we're restraining the prana, where we're restraining the life force by focusing the mind, keeping the body very, very stable and relaxed so that the energy can flow, and then paying attention to the flow. That bird's paying attention to the flow. Every morning this bird's just bah, bah. Paying attention to the flow of, I don't know, should I edit this out? Paying attention to the flow so that the light can flow through. Yeah, that's pranayama. And if we do that well, if we do that right with all the previous steps, so if we do that, good morning, 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 good morning. That's actually a really good segue into also the second part of our thing. So we're talking about pranayama and harnessing the flow of light, channeling the flow of light. Goodness. Good morning, 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 good morning. Good morning. The light. Okay, let's take this off. Good morning. Good morning. It's actually a really good segue into the topic of working with sound. Meow, meow, meow. Okay, so working with sound. So we're talking about kriyas and the asanas and these things to help to open up the pathways which lead us to the pranayama, which helps us to channel the life force and then withdraw our energy inside so that that light has a container and that we are channeling it effectively. And sound, which we'll practice some sounding, some bija mantra toning into the chakras, to use the sound to, it's very interesting. I've been studying a lot the classical tantric texts that are the first places that we see the emergence of the chakras. So the 6 chakra system that we know, they actually don't deal with the sahasrara, the crown chakra, and they deal with the 6 in the subtle body along the length of the sushumna, because there were processes that specifically were designed to bring us into contact with the activity of the chakras, that they weren't things, but they were actually vortices of light. And it's how, we have to understand how the map of the light works, that the light is coming into us from beyond, and it's configuring itself into our physical body through steps, through layers. So our practice today and this idea of cultivating light and building a connection to it has to do with understanding how does the light flow into me and through me? And what can I do to assist it and get anything out of the way that doesn't help that light to flow through? Yeah, it's a tall task, but I think it's a fun task, and it can be a fun task. But I just want to kind of conclude before we start practicing in the idea that we are beings of light. Like, this. And light has a generosity, has an intelligence. If I allow myself to connect to the light and to some degree trust in it, then what happens is all of the parts of me that have maybe not trusted will be confronted. All of the attachments, all of my fears, basically all of the darkness, the residue that's stuck in my system, that will be confronted. That bird is still going. And so the confrontation process, we want that to be gradual and systematic over time. And with the practices, what we'll do today is actually quite simple, but there are advanced components to it. So no matter where you are in your journey, you can start today with what I'm going to share and expand and deepen into this over quite a long period of time. So that's my hope, and I look forward to sharing with you the light that I've been cultivating here in my little jungle home, in my temple, and the practices that have been super supportive to me to honoring the light. So why don't we do some sadhana together, and with our shared intention that, I'm learning how to honor the light in me and to create pathways for that light so that it flows through in a really good way, so that myself, my environment, all of my relationships, everything benefits, because light is coming in and through me and distributing itself in just the same way that the sun distributes itself equally and generously amongst everything on earth. Does that sound like a good idea? Okay. Thank you for your inspiration today. Thank you for your light. Why don't we practice?